Because George cursed.
And
I want to sing like the Whitney Houston song when you say that. I don't know why.
I'm so excited, and I just can't. Wait, is that even Whitney Houston? I don't know.
I don't know.
Hey guys, welcome back.
Why are you
Wait, Roger,
holding
who is that?
Why are you holding a 12-gram CO2 cartridge? I know it looks like I'm staring somewhere else right now, but
I don't know. I picked it up off the ground.
yeah, it was used.
Guys, welcome back to the Not So Round Table. You guys know how it works. We've got the Helm of Reasoning here, where you guys submit your questions from previous versions or videos of the Not So Round Table.
Mm-hmm.
No special guest today. It's just me and George bringing it back, classic old school style.
I thought you said I was the special guest.
George is you can't be the special guest if you're one of the hosts.
I was trying to throw the 12-gram in the trash can over there, and I totally missed.
That's a really cool patch. Where'd you get
that? ITS. I don't know.
Oh.
A friend of mine got it for me. I'm cold. I don't know why, but the AC, like, it's stupid. I know. Okay, first off, it's March. The AC is on, and it's actually really cold in here all the time.
It's okay. It keeps you alert when you're doing videos.
Yes, I agree with you, but I think maybe you're just used to it.
Yeah.
And I'm actually...
Well, I have
you
no
get
choice.
colder.
The last time I asked if we could turn it off, Lauren was like, "No, it's hot in here."
Yeah, I know, but, like, you're not... I'm used to being cold. I don't mind being cold, whereas you don't like being cold.
No, I was born in California.
When we're here, like, yeah, I'm not from California, and I'm like, this is kind of chilly. I don't want to just sit here and talk, so that's why I'm wearing a jacket. But it's nice and warm. So
questions.
Questions.
That's right. We gotta answer questions. If you have any further questions, comment in the section below, and we'll answer them in the next video if we get to them, because we got a lot of questions. You want to grab the first one, or do you want me to do it?
Rock, paper, scissors.
Okay. Rock, paper, scissors. Wait, does that mean I choose or I'm not choosing? Oh, whatever.
No, you already.
All right. Henry Pham Tran asks: is green gas, CO2, and propane bad for your health if accidentally inhaled?
Oh yeah. Sorry. Yes, you inhale CO2, very bad. If you inhale green gas / butane / propane, that's very bad for you as well.
The green gas and propane, they're practically the same. Those both have a flammable element. And CO2, you're just not going to have any oxygen.
No, but CO2 is a deadly gas to you as well.
Oh, well, there you go.
Didn't you learn that in Apollo 13?
Now you know.
Tom Hanks taught me something.
Thank
you, Tom Hanks.
Teach you about C's candies.
This is Guillaume.
Guillaume Merchand. Got you. All right, read the question. Guillaume.
Oh, that was really good. Hey, Evike, guys. Keep up the good work. George, question for you. You briefly talked about your MOSFET setup on NSRT episode 14. Can you describe what your setup is? I'm kind of interested in that near trigger response. It's just a Black Talon Concepts Chimera. Okay. Nothing special. You can go to their website. We may carry them here at Evike.com. We've been kind of trying, but it's kind of a hard to come by product. If you want to buy something that we have here, the ASCU is actually compared to my current one, the Chimera, it's a little bit better because the wires are a little bit simpler. Okay. Because I have the data wires as well as the motor wires, so it's a lot of wiring going to your gearbox. The ASCU is just 2 wires, and it's just the motor wires because it's all built inside the gearbox. So it's a little bit.
In terms of the functionality that he was referring to,
it's about
is that something that most MOSFETs have nowadays?
No, it's only trigger MOSFETs. So specific, they have to have like a trigger board, and the reason you have near a great trigger response is because the spring and everything is done electronically versus by a spring.
There you go.
Which is why it's better. But
so if you can't find a Chimera, grab the ASCU.
Or there's Black Talon Concepts also has a Spectre, which is still in like beta testing, I think, but it's another good option. There are a lot of good options out there. They're gonna be a little bit pricey though. Each one of those is at least $100.
Whoa!
So just for that.
All right, Tyler Plord asks, what kind of paracord bracelet weave is George wearing here in episode 15? What? How do they just? You guys are good referring to exact episodes.
A friend of mine made it for me. So
the part green one on his right hand. Amazing! Amazing!
It's amazing. It goes everywhere with me. It goes in the shower with me, and it goes. It smells like hockey. God,
which is like the smell of death. You know how your BDUs smell if you've played a couple events in them and you haven't washed them. I don't do that.
No, hockey is probably without a doubt the worst smelling anything.
That's great.
And basically, once you put on like a hockey jersey or anything that you use with hockey will never smell the same again. It doesn't matter what you do; it'll never smell the same again.
That's gross.
Ever. So you just throw it away. But a friend of mine made this for me.
Paracord bracelets are actually pretty cool too, because if you're in a survival situation, no BS here.
Yeah,
you can actually unweave it.
You can cut here and here, and then you can unweave it.
And then you've got a survival cord.
Correct. My dad knows how to make them too. I never really asked to learn how to make them. He does. This is I don't know what weave this is, but just something a friend of mine made for me.
Dude, I could never even make those. You know those plastic things that you like fold over?
Is it like you did in Boy Scouts?
Yeah, like I could never even. I never had the concentration required to make bracelety things, and so I just buy them at Evike.com.
I think we have somebody here who makes them too. I think Kenny can make these.
Yeah, well, no, he's made those lanyards, and then he makes some monkey fists with like a marble in it, so you can use them as dice. I don't know. All right, wait, no, that's you. Go ahead.
We have a question for Matt now.
No, these are good. More questions for George.
That way I don't look so depressing. Right?
Your wife does pick them.
Yes, my wife does pick the questions. That is true. Jay Lamonth, what is your advice on the best way to carry more than one rifle during an op or any large secondary weapon? Have you ever done that? Like, so I think meaning maybe like a backup gun.
Yeah, well, when we did that one competition where I was like the sniper role,
yeah,
I had my VSR 10, and that's what slings are for. Not necessarily like a 1 point, but I find that if you're using like a large rifle, a 2 point sling or even like a 3 point that allows you to adjust it is a great resource, because you can throw it over your back, spin it around, and tighten it down so it doesn't flop all over the place.
Yeah.
And then you can carry your secondary or your other primary on a 1 point sling in front. They've got a lot of really cool devices now. Some that we've talked about that help you holster that primary so it stays out of your way if you want, or even just a bungee that kind of holds it to your vest if you'd like, or if you're using something stubby like a PDW or something, you just kind of let it hang. But anytime that you can use a sling effectively, I think is probably the best way to carry things around. It doesn't make sense to carry them physically in hand.
No, definitely not. I've carried a spare M203. That was challenging. When one op, I think I carried an extra small AK in a backpack, because everybody was running AKs. So if one went down, you just and it actually did come in handy. Like somebody's gun did go down, and we had to take it off. But I don't really do that anymore. It takes up a lot of weight. I don't run an M203 anymore, standalone, or any M203 for that matter anymore. So I had the best luck, though, with honestly a secure, not just a sling, like a 2 point, a secure backpack something. Because if not, with the sling, it kind of bounces around too much.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of options out there, and maybe experiment with what works best for you. Would be my advice.
Or we've even got that. What's that? The polycarbonate with
whoa.
We talked about
universal clip.
Yeah.
I think it swings too much though for that kind of. I mean that works great.
Well, no.
For
So you holster it, and then you've got a bungee that'll hold it in place.
Yeah, I've tried all sorts of stuff like that with those MOLLE mounted weapon things. I found the best thing was seriously just a backpack. I don't know why. It wasn't very quick to get it out, but but I mean it worked pretty well. I don't know. It's a challenge, that kind of stuff. So,
all right.
That was a good question though.
Digging. Here we go. All right. Airsoft asks.
Airsoft.
Dude, I don't know how you got that one
wow.
name. You must have been one of the first guys.
You have okay, you can rename in YouTube, so maybe that's not his username. But that could, I don't know, that's good. Anyway.
How do you refrain from getting your gun/gear stolen at a semi-large event when there are no lockers to rent and you have no car? Please let me know how you guys deal with this.
That's kind of tough.
It's kind of a shame that
theft exists.
That theft even exists in Airsoft. I mean, the products are not that expensive.
Honor is a problem as well, and obviously if you have no honor, maybe...
If it's a long day-long event, maybe you and your friends that you're going with can negotiate. Maybe one person sitting out around and kind of hanging back with the gear. People are tired out at different times, so maybe you can convince somebody to sit back. And maybe if you could bring somebody who's not interested in playing, a girlfriend perhaps, or a brother, sibling, maybe somebody that doesn't play airsoft to just kind of hang out around your gear, or if you're using something like a range bag that has a lock on it, you can always lock up your gun cases and gun bags, and even if you're near something that you can bike chain, maybe bike chain your gear to it.
That's what I was gonna say. Maybe I would find it very strange, though, to be honest with you, if you were at a large scale event that you don't have access to at least a friend's vehicle or something like that. That seems kind of weird. Maybe, I mean, if you went with like a parent and they dropped you off, I could, but at the same time, I mean, it's you got to figure out some way to lock it up if you're really concerned about that. I'm lucky I've never had anything taken. I've thought I lost something before, as we pointed out with that.
Like my pistol.
My ZT, I thought I lost it, and then I found it somewhere randomly. Yeah. And same with your pistol, so.
But it was under my dresser the whole time.
It was under your dresser. You kicked it.
Oh, that was so frustrating.
And then I broke it.
It's not broken. It's fine.
I broke
Still
it.
works.
I broke it.
We're just
awkward silence.
And then next question.
I've had one fall out. I'm sorry, Matt.
It's okay.
Can you help me with this name?
Yeah.
That's
Carwin Vanderveer. Vanderviver.
See, this is
Carwin Vanderviver.
Yeah, I was good at math. I wasn't ever good at pronunciation. So, what are your views on airsoft guns that aren't based on real steel guns? For example, the GHK G5.
Oh. Okay, well,
we both have guns, or we both have had guns that didn't mimic a real.
Yeah.
I've had weird looking AKs that have no gas block functions, so they would never technically work, and it was hilarious. We just did it to troll people.
Dude, most of airsoft is looking cool anyway. So I mean, yeah, there's an element of realism to it, and yeah, there's a milsim element. But look, if you're just there to have fun, and you want to dress up in a clown suit and use a Thompson inside of a guitar case
or something,
do it. As long as you're having fun,
Yeah, if you care what other people think, then maybe that's just
you're in the wrong sport, because there's so many haters in airsoft.
Yeah, there are a lot of haters in airsoft, and there's a lot of people like, you're not doing something the right way.
Trolls.
Remember?
Mm-hmm.
You're not shouldering your rifle the right way.
It's airsoft!
Wow.
Yep.
You went there.
Yep. Okay. Colmos asks, what's the biggest mess up / fail you've ever done while airsofting?
Seen or committed ourselves? I've seen some funny ones. Remember when JP tried to swim at New Horizon? Anyway, continue.
Ourselves. What have we done ourselves?
What is your biggest fail? Can I use hockey as an example? No.
There was it Lion Claw? There was an event we went to where we were really late setting up, and I rushed over to Chrono, got my gun chronoed, went back to the tent, everybody was gearing up, I threw my gear on, ran out to the field, inserted a magazine, fired, I was like, oh, that one's not working, switched magazines, that one's not loading, I didn't load any of my mags! So that was pretty bad, because I'm like all the way out in the field, and I had no mags, so I had to spend the next 20 minutes just running between buildings while loading and hoping not to get shot.
What event was that?
That's what I can't remember. It was one of the John Lewis.
You said buildings, so I assume Lion Claw.
I think so, unless it was Route 66.
Could be. I don't know. Biggest fail. Like I said, I saw somebody swim in a river that I didn't think that someone needed to be swimming in. But anyway, I closed on myself in hockey once.
No, in airsoft.
I know. I'm just saying. That's how I hurt myself. I think I went on the field once without a battery.
So usually forgetfulness is where.
Yeah, it's usually forgetfulness. In terms
I've
of
never jumped out of a building.
In terms of failing of jumping out of a building, or I think maybe your sniper rifle fail.
Oh yeah, okay, that's good. We were at an event that I referenced earlier where I had the sniper rifle.
That's pretty good.
I was trying to go between a chain link fence because we were trying to get the heck out of Dodge. And I ducked underneath the fence opening, and I forgot that my rifle had slung like this instead of vertically, and it caught on both sides of the fence, and I just and sat down and bent my rifle.
I was at New Horizon maybe 2 years ago, and this is a pants rip moment. But we were in the river, and I was like on the bank of the river where the mud was, and then I was like trying to move over to get a better shot, and that's when I ripped my pants. I don't know how it happened. You hear the, and then what was funny is mud and water started flowing inside the pants, and then you're like, ah! That was pretty good. All right, I think
another. Oh, okay, one more. Sorry,
one more. We got a lot of them.
One more. So when we were at Lion Claw, and I think this was like 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. Garrett was there. Kevin was there.
Okay.
And I'm seeing the footage. I wasn't in the area, but I saw the footage from 2 of my teammates. GoPros on one of their heads. You see in the GoPro frame, one of my guys running across the frame. He trips on a metal pole that has like a concrete thing, and you see him like, huh! And smacks the ground. Pissed off, he lifts up the concrete pole, throws it through a building, turns around, and you see the GoPro. There's a rocket coming right at him. So like after he sees this whole funny engagement, he turns and he's like, uh-oh, and bounces right off his chest.
That's pretty good. I have one more fail I'll talk about with a friend. Right when it was like maybe Lion Claws 9, it was when it was at Hesperia, and that yeah, I know that little tank thing that always had like the miniguns on it.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so one of our teammates was gonna take it out, so he stands up. He's like, I got it. He shoots his M203. His rocket goes like 2 feet, and then the minigun turns and just lights him up.
Oh!
So you hear him go, boom, and then you hear him say, well, something expletive, and then he gets shot and he says it again. So that was pretty good. I think that's enough fails, though. We spent a long time on this question.
I could imagine Leonard having that.
Yeah, Leonard probably has a huge amount of fails. Joseph Tang, if you could make any FPS first-person shooter map in Airsoft Field, which map would it pick? We both probably pick the same map.
I don't know that that's the case. I haven't played that many first-person shooters.
Okay, hold on. Also, if you could integrate a new feature into any existing Airsoft field, what would you integrate? I.e., IG. His example is underground tunnels, zip lines, stuff like that. So, come on, you and Jet and me talked about this. Aztec? No.
Yep. DE Aztec.
Okay, I said Dust 2. So
Dust 2's cool. Dust 2 would be much more feasible because the whole river situation with Aztec would be near impossible.
The reason that map was, I just dropped the question. The reason that map was so popular in Counter-Strike was how well balanced it was to a degree. You had multiple. It followed all the good game design rules for a multiplayer game, which are kind of ignored nowadays.
Which brings to mind, I don't know why more fields haven't reproduced maps from that game. They're not large maps, and the grading you would need to
that map would be a little hard because the reason is because you have that tunnel that goes under the bridge, so that would be a little bit difficult.
You make that out of containers.
I know. Hey, SE Village, that's what you do. Make Dust 2, and then people from all over the world will come to play it.
And then talk to the guys at Valve, get them to sponsor an event.
Yeah.
For you guys that are watching that own fields,
Aztec would be really hard though. Aztec's pretty big.
Yeah.
Be cool though.
Also, I think a cool integration into fields. What's the one up in Northern California that has like the indoor city but in a warehouse?
GamePod.
Okay, so GamePod. I love night games, especially like indoors because you can control the lighting and do low lighting. But how cool would it be to have like a user operatable sprinkler system so you could do like a rain game?
That would be cool. But even indoors it wouldn't work though because that concrete would just be.
You'd have to scarify the concrete. So you'd have to make it rough, or even use AstroTurf for grass.
You would still slide.
Really? Well,
you'd have to use.
Maybe I shouldn't own a field. Or fog machines. I mean,
a fog machine would be cool.
Like haze.
Well, remember they kind of did that at Irene. They had a lot of fog over there, and it really kind of made it a lot more. Like when you see somebody using a green laser and the laser going out. So cool.
I'm surprised more companies that have indoor fields haven't done. Okay, laser tag is a thing.
Yes.
Laser tag uses black lights and really cool like laser taggy things. I'm surprised companies like Ultrazone haven't taken airsoft and put it in a laser tag place.
Especially with so many laser tag places going out of business.
That's what I'm saying. You guys need to adapt with times. Stop doing the laser tag thing. Have indoor airsoft fields where you have to sign the same waiver if you fall off one of the, and then you got black lights and airsoft, and you're using tracer units, dude.
Plus the music.
And the music that's whoa, 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 whoa. I'd be at home. I'd just be standing there like, do you guys hear this song right now?
All right, your turn.
All right,
that's a good one.
Laser tag places and airsoft at the same time. Actually, matter of fact,
a zip line would be pretty cool.
We have an airsoft place, we have a laser tag place here in Alhambra, and I think I might go there and talk to them about organizing a game, maybe like a one-time thing. I know they won't do it. Oh.
How do you rip questions?
I don't know. Jason Lee asks, what do you think is the hardest role in airsoft, CQB, field, sniper, or other?
Heavy weapon.
Yep, I was just going to say that.
Carrying around something heavy for 24 hours for like one of those 24-hour games, or even Lion Claws. Yeah, no, thank you.
Dude, any saw gunner.
That's why in the real military they make the new guy carry the saw because like no one wants to do it.
Partially the weight, but I think also it has to do a lot with, because in airsoft you're not always with a team, right? So you're used to kind of operating on your own, and so the role of the rifleman is something you like default to.
Yeah.
And when you're carrying a heavy weapon like a squad automatic weapon, you have to remember that your one job is to cover your friends.
Yes.
Not necessarily
Sometimes
to run
ignored.
between buildings.
Sometimes ignored.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And so making sure that you retain that role and that you're providing cover fire and that you're doing overwatch for your guys and making sure that they can move up and not necessarily being the guy in the front who's doing the moving up
and dying.
So I think we both agree.
Yeah.
Saw gunners. Man,
I think it'd be the weight the most. I mean, we have
Kevin
Cocoa Bear. That's a cool name, Cocoa Bear. Do sorbo pads actually help the gearbox that much? What are the pros and cons of using them? I've never used them, so.
I think like any modification, whether something is useful is purely a case-by-case thing. Sorbo pads have a variety of uses, but one of their main uses is to make things quieter. If you're using a silent piston head and you're still not getting the quietness that you want, you might go to a flat piston head with a sorbo pad to absorb some of that smacking energy and that sound. The only time I've ever used sorbo pads is when I was converting my VSR-10 to a gas bolt. I used a King Arms gas bolt that I retrofitted to take an airline. But the sound of the trigger, the metallic bolt inside the King Arms gas cylinder, when it smacked its piston head, it made a really loud metal clanking sound. And when you have a sniper rifle, you want to be as quiet as possible.
Yeah.
So I used the sorbo pads to simply cushion their impact. Because there was no air going through there, I didn't have to worry about there being enough holes for air to travel. But
that's interesting. I've never used them. Never thought about using them. So I don't know.
I know lots of airsoft technicians that do use them, and I know just about as many who swear that they don't do a darn thing. So,
case by case basis.
Yeah. Sorry, I can't be more.
Dude, really? This isn't like popcorn at the movies, okay? Like, you'd be like the worst. He's obviously like the worst date at a movie.
Yep.
He's like, get the popcorn.
That's why I don't get popcorn. I get pretzels instead because the quiet food. All right, Laughlin Kenway.
That is a long question.
Yep. Asks, hello, Mike, George, and special guest.
Are you Mike?
I don't know. Is there a Mike? Is there a Mike here?
That's Matt.
I'm Matt. There's no Mike. Should we even answer this? No, just kidding. Okay.
Let's see if the question's good. Then I'll
decide. On eyewear. I wear prescription eyeglasses, and it's rather difficult to find full seal eyewear that is made specifically for airsoft paintball that is not too incredibly uncomfortable to wear over the glasses. Right now, I wear safety goggle type of one that one might wear in a science lab. Those are not ANSI rated.
But he's wearing them over his.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a good answer for this. Let's just.
And then don't worry, they're full seal. Well, I know that. I have a pair over here if you'd like me to wear them in a tabletop.
No, just.
And that's working great. But do you have any other suggestions?
Yes. There's Revision, product we carry, makes these cool goggles called turbofans, or they're fan goggles. They're called, but I would recommend the fan because that way condensation will go. I know this because two friends of mine wear glasses and they don't wear contacts, and that's how that they use. They make an insert. It's called the RX insert that you put inside the goggles, and you get your prescription put on those inserts, and then boom, you have. Goggles,
and you can take them out.
And you can take them out and put it in. Yeah, exactly.
Because they're not resting on your temples, it doesn't give you fatigue.
Yeah, exactly. Those is what you should look into. It's an investment. It is an investment.
Yeah.
It's some money for just the goggles.
But it's your eyes.
But it's your eyes. I would not be using safety glasses or those things over regular glasses because a BB hitting you on the side isn't going to do anything. With that kind of.
ESS also makes.
Yeah, ESS makes them. Smith Optics just came out, so I'm actually looking at the new Smith Optics turbofan over the wire goggles. I've heard they're pretty good.
Yeah. But your problem is not unique. They've, the military personnel have been dealing with this same issue for guys that wear corrective lenses and things, and So there are plenty of options out there. You just got to do a little bit of Google searching for you.
A little bit of Google search.
Somebody would put the link for "Let me Google that for you" for that guy's question. Okay. So,
sorry, I'm laughing a little bit. Okay, this is from Yakko Zoyquick.
Whatever. Yeah. Sorry.
In your opinion, do you feel or do you think airsoft makes good training tool for real steel firearms? Yes, when done correctly. What I mean by that is
he's referring to how I shoulder an M4.
Yeah, you have to treat it the exact same way. If you're not treating it the exact same way, then it's not doing anything for you.
You're just reinforcing bad habits.
Exactly. And this is what I found a long time ago when I started playing airsoft. I'm like, I am rushing my shots, and I am not looking down my irons, and that if you're building those habits, then when you're using your real gun, you're not doing very well. And I learned this the hard way when I went to an IDPA meet. And my pistol shooting was horrible, so I fixed it, corrected it, and that's kind of why I use a KS or a G series type pistol to mimic a. Yeah, I try to mimic it, so I'm used to it, and it's very important that you reinforce good habits. It's actually more important for you to reinforce good habits and get killed if you're going to be playing these airsoft like milsim games.
Yeah.
If you let's say you may sacrifice yourself in terms of you may have less fun because you get killed more because you're reinforcing good habits. That may happen.
But you have to remember that you're using it as a training tool.
Yes.
Yeah.
And not as a like I need to get a lot of kills. So if you take an extra second to shoot somebody because you don't hold down the trigger and you look down your irons versus somebody who comes around the corner going you may.
And I think that statement is reinforced by the fact that there's a reason that law enforcement agencies are starting to use airsoft as training tools. A huge amount of customers that we have are law enforcement or government officers that work in some way or fashion in a tactical aspect for their jobs. And because airsoft's cheaper than real firearms and a heck of a lot safer, you can really build some really good habits and reinforce proper training and etiquette with an airsoft gun that would cost you a whole lot more to do if you were using real weaponry.
I just saw an article kind of about this, and I'm going to try to put the article in an annotation right here if I can find it. I'm going to try to find it. I have to go back in my history and find it, but I probably can find it. I think I looked at it the other day. So, but
what was the article?
It was by somebody who used to play a lot of airsoft in the Line Claw series and stuff like that, and they actually had a cool video. I think it was done by like PTS about training. They were actually training at that field we did munition at.
The Gardena.
They had some cool stuff on there. So maybe I'll post the link to that stuff here. Check that out. Let's do maybe one or two more questions.
Okay.
See how we'll do this one, and if we have time, we'll do another one.
All right.
That's a small question.
On purpose.
Yeah, you do it on purpose.
I don't do it on purpose.
You do the old ones are the ones that are wrapped like fortune cookies. The new ones are the ones that are kind of like more.
I see.
In there. I've kind of learned that.
Maritime Milsim TV. Do you believe that the whole Magpul Dynamics schooling / videos are applicable to airsoft? Okay, well, the Magpul Dynamics...
We talked about this, sort of.
We referenced that with Ryan last week.
Exactly, yeah.
Yes and no. It's what works for you. If you find that you're a more comfortable, accurate shooter using those techniques, then use them. Whether you're using them for real steel shooting or... Why do I always call it real steel?
Okay. There's a misconception that some people blow out of proportion a lot when they see somebody such as like Travis Haley or Chris Coster, these people shooting, and they're shooting a specific way, and they want to mimic how that person shoots correctly. If you've been taught something, and if you're trying to relearn something, you're going to perform worse, and you're never going to get it because you're not used to it. It's not built into you from the foundation. It's just like if you don't have a natural athletic ability, you're not going to be good at sports.
I don't know that that's true.
Okay, no. If you do not have a natural ability, natural athletic ability, meaning you're agile and that you have all these things, you're not going to be good at a sport.
You'll just be a great pool player.
Exactly. Or
maybe you're good at bowling.
You understand, like what I'm saying though is I've seen people, for example, in hockey who played hockey for maybe 10 years and they haven't gotten any better in the last 10 years.
Okay.
Like I'm not saying I have, but I'm saying that like if you're not going to be better at something because you learn some new technique. Some new technique can make you a better shooter, but it's not necessarily going to make you a great shooter.
Okay.
So, and it all comes down to practice too. Yeah. Practice does a lot for people. And I mean, I don't like to shoot that way personally. I like to adapt what I feel is comfortable for me.
And that's where it goes into the whole, what works for you. If you find that certain techniques that have been referenced in those videos and those training seminars work for you, then integrate those into your style of shooting.
You don't have to have thumb over, like I don't shoot thumb over bore. I have my pressure switch on the top, so I kind of get that when I'm using it. But at the same time, I put it on the top so I could use it with my left and right hand. And if I'm not using that, I kind of keep my thumb more to the side.
Yeah.
But another example would be their reload technique is a great technique because it's quick, it's fast. So if you want to take bits and pieces of what they've, I don't like how they talk a lot about speed. I think speed is an overrated thing about combat, in my personal opinion. And
taking the time to aim.
And this is coming from somebody who used to shoot a lot of IDPA. Accuracy is 10 times more important than speed. And if I can get 4 rounds in a small ring or
versus
3
40.
rounds in a small ring, it's more important to get the 3 rounds than the 4 rounds. So I don't know. That's what I think. So
and I do HOM, hand over magwell.
Hand over magwell. Last question. IV West or 4 West.
Sure.
Okay. Greetings. Insert. What is your favorite game mode to play? TDM, free for all, or like an objective?
Oh, TDM, team deathmatch.
Yes, that's
Gotcha.
referencing video game.
Yeah.
Luckily, we're old school gamers.
I'm familiar enough.
We know what it means. Objective for sure.
I like objective play. It makes it more exciting than just
what I found is with games that are not based off of who dies and who lives, you get a lot less cheating, because people are less concerned with staying in the round and completing an objective. I always think it's more important to complete an objective than to get 100 kills in a game. I don't know about you, but I find that really irritating when like somebody says like, oh, I got like 50 kills. I'm like, I don't even know how many people I've hit today. I don't really care, but I brought this box from here over here.
But I was able to bring back the flag that they said was our one goal for the mission. So I'm glad you killed a bunch of guys. You probably enabled me to do my job a little bit better. I think we need both. I think we need headhunters because they're the ones that keep the guys who are trying to accomplish the goals for the objective safe.
Sure.
Because if we're not running out and shooting a million people, that gives us the ability to accomplish the goal.
Very true.
I like bomb defusals, if those are a thing.
Bomb defusals are fun.
I like the robber game where you got to go get the money and.
Those are fun.
Cops versus robbers. I like Cops with
I
Flag.
I don't like the Cops versus Robbers game at ITS though, because the game goes on forever.
Yeah, that's true.
And it becomes a stalemate of you just sitting there and it's like you're bored and you just walk away.
I do find that most objective-based games eventually, if the objectives aren't obtained in a timely fashion, all games boil down into a force on force.
Yeah.
That's how it is. Especially when you have big ops. It's hard to get a whole bunch of objectives accomplished by 300 or 400 people. And I understand, the team commanders, you're just trying to get engagements because people have paid to be there and they just want to shoot at somebody.
Some people,
so you got to keep bringing the forces in to shoot at each other.
The thing is, your objective could be something that's not technically an objective. So, like, let's say I want to take this building. There's a bunch of bad guys in that building. We took that building. That's cool.
Objective.
Yeah, objective.
Yeah.
Even though it was an objective on paper, it was an objective to you. That's what I kind of mean. Maybe
cool
more.
Yeah.
Versus...
I'm going to jump out this window. Objective accomplished.
Leg broken. We're referencing.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Well, thanks, guys, for joining us for another episode of Insert the Not So Round Table. You know how we do here. Submit your questions in the comments section below. And then maybe we'll have a guest next week. Maybe we don't. Maybe it's just George and I.
We've had a lot of guests, so maybe we'll just do it old school for a while.
Down with that. And we'll see you guys next week.
And if you haven't watched Fistful of BBs, go watch that now.
Watch that.
Annotation
somewhere here.